The all-familiar John 3:16. Welcome to Meet the Bible. Hello, YouTube. My name is Cole. Meet the Bible, M-E-A-T, the Bible. And today I want to talk about John 3:16. I'm back in my ground blind. I don't know if I've posted that video. I did, but I was back here. I was in my ground blind. This is one of my ground blinds for for deer hunting, and my ladder collapsed and fell on me, or I fell. I fell with a ladder. Hit the ground really hard. I thought it just knocked the wind out of me, but I'll be darned if that didn't break 3 ribs. That's just killer. It was a lot of pain at first, but it's okay now. But ironically, this ground blind's called the church, because I have different blinds, and so this is, when this is done, this is going to be my nicest, I believe, and this is it's called the church. So, not to be a tax write-off or anything. It's just, I had to call it something, and it really, you can't see from this camera, but it's because it's a wide-angle lens. But this is a real nice area, a nice view. It's a big platform, and I'll probably spend a lot of time here and harvest a lot of deers. Today, and I don't always know when I make these videos and I save them and I post them. I don't know when this is gonna get up. I tell you, people, I'd be real grateful if you would subscribe. YouTube has a lot of things that bases your videos on, and the exposure. Same with Google, and subscription is one of them. Getting to the end of the video is one. They see how long people, before they X out, I appreciate if you'd stay to the end. In fact, what I've started doing is putting my bloopers, for lack of a better word, and I certainly have some. I put them at the end, so if you make it to the end, you can see some of my screw-ups. I didn't video the fall, otherwise that would have been on them, but I'm going to start putting things of interest, lack of a better word, at the end of these, in hopes that people will get to the end. I don't know how it all works. Those that are coming over from some of my other channels here, I have some basic understanding of this, but I think hits are important. I think subscribing's important as far as launching this and getting this off the ground. And I would like to have this channel work out. I would like to make it grow. If we can, ladies and gentlemen. King James. I'm a big King James guy. John 3:16. All familiar, huh? For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Oh, I've heard that before. I've heard that lots of times. It's one of the objectives of Meet the Bible is to, entertain a slightly different spin on these verses. One thing I think is the truth. It has to be the truth. One thing I believe is important is for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Not all translations say begotten. What does that mean? Well, God has no grandchildren. We are all sons of God. Now, 80% of the time when you read the word sons of God in the Bible, it's certainly Old Testament, it's talking about fallen angels and Nephilims. But we are sons of God, no grandchildren. So when it says Jesus, Son of God, it's a misleading. It's misleading because he was much more higher up. He's the only begotten Son of God. The rest of us are sons and daughters. Kid I mentored to, I told his, black guy, he said, hello, brother, and he thought that was odd, told his brother, Cole called him brother. Well, we are brothers. We are all brothers of God, of sons of God, but or sisters. I just thought that was cute. But, and the other thing too, I want to point out here, and I'm going to be on this here in weeks to come. Whosoever believes in him, Jesus, right? Believes in Jesus, should not perish, but have everlasting life. Okay, so you and I'm assuming you're a Christian, we believe in Jesus, and that's all-encompassing. We believe upon, okay, that would be the Trinity, and that would be died and resurrected, the whole photo, the big everything, okay? We'll have everlasting life. We'll live forever and ever in heaven, which will be down here eventually. Heaven will be here on earth. When Jesus returns, okay, I was all today, or a guy who puts his feet in, he doesn't touch the ground. He hovers and flies back up. Nowhere does it say Jesus goes back up. That's another lesson. That's another class. But he says, when Jesus comes, we shall be with him forever. That's because this becomes heaven here on earth. All the elements are burnt up, 2 Peter. But this, not the earth isn't burnt up. The elements are burned up. This becomes heaven. But what does perish mean? Perish, interesting word. And I use 3:16 commonly to illustrate a point. Should not perish. Well, you think of an apple being perishable. You put an apple, I don't know, someplace. Not here in the woods because the deer will eat it. Not on the counter because it's going to rot. But it will perish. Okay? Perish means perish. So the opposite of, hopefully you and I, hopefully, we're all Christians here. That's why we're at, entertaining the Bible, hopefully. But if you're not, you're agnostic or atheist, by all means, I welcome you. By all means, come and watch, please. Subscribe, too. Is if you don't believe upon Jesus, all-encompassing, your soul, these bodies are going to die, your soul will perish. Well, yeah, what does that mean? That means you will not be boiling in hell, in lava, for eternity. That's what that means. Hell is going to be short, sweet, and to the point. There's another big lesson here. It's going to take more time than I can invest here in a couple of verses. But lots of Bible verses talk about perishing. Perish means a cigarette butt will perish. It takes 26 years or something, but it will perish. I thought that was a deer. And Baptists are like, no, don't tell them that. We need them sitting in the pew. Tell them they're going to turn and burn. Well, that might get them in the pew, but that's not going to get their heart involved. So they're still going to perish. But perish. They won't remember anything. We won't remember them. No, that's not what it says. There's a hell, and they boil forever and ever. On an average day, 100 in a world, 144,000 people die. At best, 44,000 of them claim to be Christians. That means 100,000 people a day. 2/3 are going to go are going to be in boiling in lava for eternity. That makes no sense. And there's no tears in heaven. We're not going to know it. Well, God would know it. You think God's going to sit there and be happy with us third and swimming in the pool and drinking margaritas and witnessing for eternity over here, looking at these people boiling in lava for decisions they made the 70 years they were on earth, maybe 80 with good health. Decisions they made 70, 80 years, they're going to boil in lava for eternity, and God's going to witness it. That's not my God, people. That's not my God. And if you're teaching that God, I think we're doing an injustice to our Creator. And I think it's a major turnoff to a lot of these people that we minister to. They just haven't accepted it. John 6:44 says the only way to Jesus is if God draws you. The Hebrew says drags you. So it's not their fault that God hasn't drugged them over to Jesus yet. But if they died in a car wreck today, they're going to, somehow people think there's an existing hell now. But hell will be a result of the great white throne judgment that non-believers will be thrown into. But you've got to hear this word, and I suppose that's part of what Meet the Bible is about. You've got to hear the truth. You can't be raised in a closet in Saudi Arabia, where the Bible's outlawed, all your life, and never heard Jesus, and I believe upon him. How many people have a Quran in their house? How many times has your father sat around the dinner table quoting the Quran? Surah 2:12, the proper way to beat your wife. We don't know the Quran, and I submit to you, a lot of Muslims don't know the Bible. Buddhists, Hindus, they don't understand the Bible. Americans do not know what it truly says, and they are not going to be judged on the fact that they weren't born with this wisdom. They'll be judged on a lot of variables, but we don't know what the judging criteria is per se. However, when you die, you will, if you're a non-believer, you will not boil in lava forever. That is false doctrine. You will perish. John 3:16. Believe, you and I live forever. Don't believe, your soul will perish. That's what you're saved from. People, I'm saved. Saved from what? Saved from the second death. This flesh, earthly body will die. It will die. The second death is the death of your soul that'll perish in the lake of fire. God is a consuming fire. God is the lake of fire. Okay, painlessly and quickly gone. Okay, that is the second death. Christians are saved from that second death. Our soul will live for eternity in heaven with God, which, by the way, is going to be on earth here. Okay, it's going to be here. Okay, New Jerusalem comes down, 2,500 miles or 2,500 mile cube, sitting in the old Jerusalem, God's favorite place in universe. We are going to live here forever with God. If you're a non-believer, and there's a lot of criterias, if you're wicked, by definition, you will be thrown into the lake of fire and instantly perish. Like Psalms 37:20, we talked about that, or the smoke. You'll be eternally separated from God, and that is a form of hell. But you don't know it. You don't know it. I wouldn't want to be there. I want Team Jesus, okay? You were born on Team Satan. We convert to Team Jesus, hopefully, at some point. So far, I haven't made any mistakes on this one, so there won't be any bloopers at the end. But appreciate you coming here, watching. A little eerie since that last fall. I feel like I'm scared of height here. But I needed to face my demons and come back up here. But Meet the Bible, MEAT, Team Jesus. Appreciate you coming. Really, really, really do. I hope you come back. God bless.